Garden tour, November 6, 2023. Here it is. We've had our first, second, third, number of frosts. Not any super heavy hard frost, but enough to basically kill everything. As you can see here, the peas have taken quite a hit. They're laying down now, but they're not totally frozen, which is just an indication of the type of frost we've gotten so far. The rye is still alive and kicking, as it should be. Oh, let's see what else we've got here. Most everything is on its last leg. Ooh, look at that. Something, I think maybe the deer are over here eating my lettuce. Thank you very much. There's still a little kale here. There's a tiny little green pumpkin. What else do we got? There's a couple pumpkins over there. There's another one here that's starting to ripen. I will take these soon. This one actually looks like it might have got frost damage, but I'll grab it here soon within the next few days. I'm here today planting garlic, which I'll give you a peek at later as we get towards the end of the other end of the garden. Still got leeks here. They're pretty frost hardy. You can see all the dead pumpkin, squash, other various vines. I will pull all this dead stuff out of here at some point. I just haven't got around to it yet. Once it's dead, there isn't a real rush. I will pull a tarp over this part of the garden again this winter, just to kind of hold it for me. But there's no rush on that. Just gotta kind of get it down before snow flies. So I've got a little while, probably at least a month. Like I said, you can see all the peppers are toast. Leeks are still doing okay, holding their own. I mean, of course, they're not really growing much, but they'll be fine. I'll get them out of here within the next, week or so. Here's a dead basil. You can see what once was the Malabar spinach. I'll have to try that again. I took a couple nibbles, but I never actually get to cook with any of that this summer, so I'll have to try that again next summer. Oh, what do we got here? There's my second planting of beans, that's toast. Second planting of peppers, that's also done, obviously. Here's what was the row of my bush tomatoes. Those are toast, just haven't got a chance to pull them like everything else. As you can see here, this parsley is fairly cold hardy. It's still surviving. I may take some of that, I might not get around to it. Here's the oregano. That's also fairly cold hardy and harvestable if I get a chance to. I have some dried oregano stored from a couple seasons ago, so I'm not in dire need of that. But if I get around to it and time allows, I'll take some of that. Here's an actual, I believe this is an elm tree that we're going to try to pull out of here and pull into the three-season porch for the winter and see if we can bring it back out and plant it somewhere in the yard next summer. Here is, well, this was the first planting of beans. See, that is also toast. Here is what's left in my celery bed. Still hanging on. This is one other thing that I got to come in here and chop the last, I don't know what this is, maybe 10 of these bunches out before it gets too cold and they just turn to mush. I've got a couple of immature Napa cabbage. I was trying to leave them and give them as long as I could manage to try to mature. It doesn't look like I'm going to get much more maturity than where they're at right now. So when I pull everything that's still edible out of the garden, I'll grab what's left of those and make something, maybe sauerkraut with that. Here's what's left of my second planting of carrots. I pulled quite a bit out of that last week. I'll pull the rest of these out of here as well in the next few days. Got some beets left here. The greens are obviously taking a hit, but the beets will be fine in that bed until my last harvest day, which will be soon. Here is the second planting of summer squash and zucchini. That is also toast now, obviously. There is what once was a planting of shishito peppers, also done for the year. Here is a bed of radishes, which I planted, oh, I don't know exactly, I can't remember the exact date, but it was a little later than I wanted, because, which is, you know, evident in their maturity, because they're just starting to produce, and they're not totally fried, but you can see they took a little hit. We've got some foliage damage from the cold temperatures at night. And here is my garlic beds. That bed over there, it's still got some lettuce, which is surviving, and I also plan to harvest what I can of this here in the next few days, if not, you know, maybe a couple weeks, depending on the weather. This will be, I'll finish this bed off with garlic once I pull the lettuce out of it. You can see, you know, we're on the line of this stuff not surviving. That's a black-seeded Simpson there that's pretty damaged. But the romaine in the middle is doing a little better. And then on this edge, that is Butter Crunch. That's kind of in the middle of the two as far as damage it's taken from the frost. So I will try to harvest what I can of this here soon, but I was more concerned with getting my garlic in the ground. Not so much that I'm racing with the frost, because I've planted garlic into frozen ground, just pounded a hole with a steel rod and planted. Not that I really suggest that, but really because I want to fill these beds, because I need to know exactly how much garlic I'm going to plant so I can sell the rest of it. So I'm working on it. I planted this bed here in the middle, this bed here. I planted that today. Of course, I've only got 25 feet of it open. Once the lettuce is gone, I'll plant the other 25 feet, and then that'll be a 50-foot bed of garlic next year. And then you can see the bed behind it there. That is a completed 50-foot bed of garlic. And then depending on how much garlic I have left when I finally fill in that bed of lettuce and finish it off with garlic, this will be my overflow bed right here, which I've already prepped, and I've got a little extra compost just laying on top of it. That'll be spread into that bed where the lettuce currently is when the time comes. And then if I've got extra garlic that I want to get in the ground, it'll go in this bed. If not, then I'm thinking about maybe trying to fall sow some spinach here, and then I'll mulch it with the straw just like I will the garlic, and then we'll see, maybe I'll have some early spinach in the spring. I've also, as you can see here, I've cleaned out what was once the sunflower bed, chopped all those out. Haven't got around to chopping out the zinnias yet, but I will. You know, there's no real rush on getting the dead stuff out, so I just take it a bit at a time. So I think that's about the gist of the garden. Just wanted to do a quick early November garden tour. You know, well, the summer wasn't as hot as I would have liked, so we didn't get quite the production as far as warm weather crops. The cold temperatures have actually held off a lot longer, so I've been happy with that. I looked back at my records, and last year our first killing frost was October 3rd. And this year I think it was October 30th or October 31st. So I'll take it. But that's about the gist of the garden for this week. Happy growing.